Welcome to Intuition to Income, everybody. I am so excited to share a very special guest. She is not only a dear friend, but she is somebody in our Intuitive Success Coaching Certification Program. And I actually asked her to be on the show because I wanted her to share her experience and her business, because she is one of the most talented coaches I have worked with. She has an amazing, keen ability to use her intuition and help people get out of their own way. So Miss Jackie Chen from Italy, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Hey everyone. Well, I'm really honored and humbled to be here. Thank you, Abby. I am an intuitive life coach, and my business is Energy Before Matter Life Coaching. I am so blessed to have worked with Abby and seen the potential in what I have to carry out into the world. I'm really thankful for it. So I basically help those who feel stuck and they really want to find the drive and love in life again and feel empowered and fulfilled. So I do that by eliminating those limiting beliefs that we have. Wow, that was a tongue twister, wasn't it?
It always is. So Jackie, I know the way you got here was by following your intuition, because I know how you found me was very like serendipitous, like the way you found it. So I would love for you to share, first of all, how you connected to your intuition, and then second of all, how you found the program through following your intuition.
Wow. Well, I think my intuition had always been around, but it was the awareness of the intuition that really played the key role. So I always had heard that whisper. I use my intuition as a whisper, a voice inside of myself. And I grew up always fighting it because people always told me I should be doing A, B, and C instead of what my gut told me I should be doing over here. And so finally, I'd say in the last, I had a couple transformations. And the first one, I really said, no, what, I need to change. I need to move forward. And I pushed forward through a lot of childhood trauma and relationship abuse that wasn't great. And then later on in the last few years, I had the same issue. I knew that there was more in life and I could feel it in my gut, like that aching, that there was something more. And so a year ago, I sought out and found my life coach, and she was incredible, and it really helped to train and bring that inner voice back out. And so from there, we were working together on our last session, and it was really funny because I was like, about halfway through my session, I want to be a life coach. In the middle of my teaching lesson, and so my last coaching session was to find a program. And when I was talking to my life coach, she had me close my eyes. She's an intuitive life coach as well, and we got thrown to this website in Seattle. And then it was really funny because nothing felt right. And then we saw your testimonial, and I was like, we both looked at each other like, So we went onto the website, and your website matched all of the things I wanted. So the colors, the words, unconditional love, non-judgment, things that I hold really serious in my being as well. So it was really funny how my intuition was able to manifest into something and find you.
So I just love that you share this story, Jackie, because intuition is so magical. It's connecting us because it's our innate connection to ourselves and everything else in the universe. Now, what the audience doesn't know is the website that your intuition guided you to, Bestseller University, was my teacher, was my NLP teacher, who is a dear friend and mentor of mine. And when I started my company when I was 19, he took me under his wing. And I feel like I've kind of done the same for you. So it's like it basically is passed down. So it didn't feel quite right there, but it led you to me. But the whole irony is he's the whole reason that I even have a practice. So it's just really exciting to trust, like you say, the inner whisper, that gut feeling, that inner knowing, because yes, it leads to more income and beautiful friendships, beautiful connections that are like priceless, right? So I know we've talked about doing a retreat in Italy, which I still want to do. And there's just so many ways that it connects us beyond what we can think. And I really would love for you to share, because I know you have such a big heart, that when we move into that heart space and we drop into our core and our center, what can start to open? Because I've talked with you about this personally, and I've watched how you're so skilled at helping people move into that space beyond the mind and you say energy before matter, it's like you're shifting their energy to help them create what they want. So, long-winded question, but you can respond to it however you want.
Well, I've always been like most of us who live in our head. And before I even really listened to my intuition, I remember, as I was saying, that ache, that desperation of trying to find what I was meant to do. Because I always knew that something was greater in life. And I'd always looked for happiness, which ended up being fulfillment rather than happiness. But that's a whole other side story. But I remember I could feel all these things coming out of my mind and being like, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And it was like a desperation of trying to grasp something that would make me feel like I was doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. And anything new. So I was willing to take the risk, but it wasn't necessarily the right risk. So when I started doing a lot of yoga, meditation when I was younger, and then eventually working with you and really getting centered into my being and being comfortable with my inner mm-hmm. voice, I could visualize. For me, it's visualization. So I could visualize everything up here, and I can feel when I'm clogged here. Mm-hmm. And I can meditate and bring myself down. And you've witnessed this as well. When I bring yourself from the head and down into the heart, and then from the head, the heart to the gut, and trying to unify the two to see what really are we trying to say and what really is the right decision. And so for me, that's what I use to bring myself from all the way out here into the right place. Because then when I get into my heart center, I am able to resolve all of this and figure out what's really right for me.
It's funny. I love how my own teaching is always mirrored back to me, because it is. It's always bring your head to your heart, to your gut, right? And I was practicing it yesterday because my guides were like, Abby, hello, the first step is let every thought move into the love of your heart, right? Because when the thought meets the heart, it transforms into love. And that's how we can say unconditional love and non-judgment, because we're in that place of neutrality. We're in that place of love. And then dropping into our center, to me, it really allows us to connect with our inner compass, our inner guide. And that center can really, it pulls you in the direction. It's like a magnet. I think that really is how a compass works. Is it like, it shows you where to go. It's a magnetic force. And so, you know, like, it's funny, I have a pendulum because a friend just gave me one the other day. But like, your intuition is basically like your inner pendulum. Like, it'll just pull you, right? And there's a spiritual teacher, I think his name's Michael Bernard Beckwith. He talks about, like, you know, you might be pushed in a direction until your vision pulls you. So what vision can you start to bring to mind and bring into your heart, and then allow that inner compass of your intuition pull you into it like a magnetic force? So it's like a force of light. And I just love that you followed that, because it's truly my greatest joy just to watch it ripple. You know, because it's like your light affects my light, which affects that person's light, and everybody's light around it, because it illuminates the truth, right? And it illuminates love.
And the thing that I think is really beautiful is when not only we're all connected and our energy goes from one to the other, but also our energy morphs into something physical. So when we really trust something to be true and really believe and really have faith in that, that is what morphs into the physical. That is what where our opportunities come, where our health comes, where we're able to form really strong relationships and let go of the things that don't serve us anymore. So that connection, that unification and energy is so important for us in the first step before we can look at the physical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It just brings to mind NLP, right? Neuro-linguistic programming, which you know is a part of the process, because it's like, until you believe something, you most likely won't create it. And so we have this whole array of unsupportive beliefs that we can actually transform into supportive beliefs that then support our intuition. And so I feel like, honestly, I know that's one of your specialties, is you can actually see and pick apart, almost like, you know, learning strategies. It'll pick apart the pattern and then like unplug it and then replug into what aligns, you know, with your intuition. And I feel like, you know, if we could all do that, it is like a computer program. I'm like, delete, move that, edit that, you know, recorrect, and have one that's actually functional. So again, for whatever reason, I'm really being called to share vision. You know, whatever anybody is wanting to create this year. I mean, it's the beginning of 2018. It's like we're really stepping into our vision. to allow yourself to become it as if it's already happened, and then to see where your intuition guides you. Because it's all possible, right? It's all
Yeah.
possible.
And part of that is the language you use. Instead of saying, I will do this. No, I am doing this. I am doing this and I'm doing it now.
There's only one Jackie Chan. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's only one you, right? There's only one all of us. And I think when we use our language, like you said, in alignment with who we are, it happens like that, right? Alignment is key. Alignment is key. So I'm wondering, I know you've done some practice sessions and you've started your practice. How have you have been able to help these people overcome their challenges when they feel, my intuition says this, but I'm kind of afraid to follow it? Like, how have you been able to help them?
Well, it depends on the situation, and it depends on your intuition as to where you should be following them or guiding them. For me, it depends. Usually I go into meditation, and then from there we're able to pick apart and find, like you said, that little piece that we need to take out and take a deeper look at. And from there, from that meditation, usually we're able to use NLP techniques to transform them. And usually from the intuition on both of our ends, because we're usually connected during a session, like you would know, when we're connected in the session, we can both sort of tell if this is the right direction or if that one is. So it's really about feeling it out, seeing what really resonates with the person in that moment, and bringing them to the place that they need to be and what feelings they want to be feeling. And of course, taking a plan of action. That's really
Yeah, so it's funny, I was just telling you, I got a call from somebody in Chicago, which is where my first teacher was. And I remember when I started flying out to see her and training with her, I would listen to her and there would be this resonance of truth. And I knew that because I was feeling that it was true for me. And then I realized that everybody had this innate connection to truth. Like, you can't really lie to yourself or another because you already know. And so to actually trust the essence of your intuition as that compass, but as I actually talk about it in the program, the truthometer, it's like, it's telling you the truth. The question is, are you going to listen? Do you have the courage to listen to it? Or are you going to deny it because you're afraid? And so that's why we base it in unconditional love and non-judgment, because you can hear your intuition in that place. When you're in fear, you're actually disconnected from it. And you can always come back to center. That's the good news, right? But I'm just channeling this right now because I feel like it's important for people to understand that at any moment you can become that channel. But what can you do to move into a loving space for yourself and others to then be able to receive it? So you might have more to say.
For sure. I listen to you and I completely agree, because a lot of the time we live our life doing the things we think we're supposed to do. Get married, finish university, get married, buy a house, have a job, all those things. And traditionally, I have never been one of those people. I have been one that probably makes mistakes because I wasn't listening to my inner voice, because I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do. So once you start listening to that voice, you're going to realize you're a lot lighter. And the reason you're a lot lighter is because you're following your true path. You're following what your inner voice is telling you. When we're fighting against that inner voice, then you're going to see obstacles in front of us. We're going to see sickness. We're going to see pessimism. We're going to see the things that we don't want to see. But when you're following your right path, your intuition, your inner voice, things come along as opportunities. You're able to move forward from whatever obstacle you see as an obstacle, or you see it as an opportunity. That's what I like to see. Instead of seeing it as an obstacle like most people, we see it as an opportunity. And so we're moving forward in that direction. And when we're listening to our inner voice, we're grounded no matter what. And so going further is to the unconditional love and non-judgmental feeling that we get on ourselves is because we're not listening to our inner voice. And so we worked on this. The biggest thing to do that is to forgive yourself. We always slip up. But the trick is to say, you know what? I still love me. I still make mistakes. We're all human. But we have to learn how to forgive ourselves in order to let go and move forward. Because if we dwell on those mistakes, we're going to just keep spiraling. And how does that serve us? That's my favorite question. How does this serve you in this moment? It doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you're like short-circuiting the pattern, and that's what I was saying you do with people so well, is you actually, the unconscious mind is 80% of you, and it will always make the best choice available. So if it's dead ends and it's like, oh, that doesn't work anymore, it's actually going to open up what does. And that's where you can use your intuition to find the truth and find the alignment, or a coach like Jackie, or the person that you're guided to work with, to help you get into that place of, oh yeah, oh, that's true. Oh, I can move forward in this direction. So I just love what you're saying. Like, I don't even know what else to say. I'm just like so proud of you. It's just so clear, such a clear channel and conduit. And I just appreciate you bringing that message of forgiveness. I mean, it really is. And what's coming is, I don't know, like, how would you define forgiveness?
Wow, question and a half.
Sorry, my guides told me to ask you.
Well, I can start with when I used to start saying, okay, yeah, I forgive myself. You'd have this kind of like, yeah, I forgive myself. When you start, okay, here's an example. So I'm currently using affirmations in my life, right? And so each day I'm writing an affirmation that feels right for me in that moment. And then each night and morning I'm reading out loud those affirmations. So when I first started reading the affirmations, you see me reading it like this. I am deserving the abundance the universe offers. Very flat, right?
Nice.
But then now I can feel it in my heart where I'm saying, I am deserving of the universe and what it has to offer me. Mm-hmm. I am deserving of that abundance. So not only am I connecting my voice, but I'm connecting my heart with it. So with forgiveness, it's the same thing. So when we first starting, when you're young and you see the kids do this and you're like, I'm sorry. But you know that they don't really mean it. They're just saying.
Yeah, they're just saying because they have to, yeah.
Practice just using the vocabulary first. Start with, Jackie, I'm really sorry that I ate that brownie and I wasn't supposed to today. And then move into, and then eventually go, you know what, okay, I forgive you for eating the brownie. I understand how you did, but let's, take it in moderation. So we're not going to have 2 today. We'll just have 1. So really connecting the heart with what we're saying with our 5th chakra, our throat chakra, is really important. So once we feel it and express it vocally, it's out there. Mm-hmm. And then there's like a connection, a spark that allows you to actually feel that little bit of you that forgives yourself for that action.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing is basically move it from saying it to actually feeling it. When you actually feel it, you mean it. I mean, it is like the process. You become the energy, and if you don't, it's not authentic.
Not at all.
Beautiful. Wow. So how have you seen miracles happen in your life and your business as you followed your intuition?
Well, I used to be a teacher, so I was teaching elementary and secondary, and I remember this student in my 2nd year teaching or 3rd year teaching. I was teaching in China, and I had a phenomenal bunch of students. And this one girl I knew she had potential. When you see someone and you can just feel that they have so much power in them, but they haven't realized their own worth yet. And so I remember speaking to her the first time, and she wouldn't look at me in the eyes. And for the course of the year, we worked on, building that confidence. And I knew there was something I had to work with her. And we had incredible discussions, not only her, but with the students. And then I think a year later, I received an email from her. And she had said to me, you had really changed my life. Before you, I felt like I was invisible. Nobody saw me. I didn't feel worthy. And she goes, if it weren't for you, I don't know where I would have gone in my life. And the thing she wrote to me, I cried when I read this email, because it just, for her as well to share this vulnerability is incredible. But not only that, I knew that what I I was doing was on the right track. I knew that my intuition, by following these people, by following these ones that don't feel heard, that don't feel they have someone behind their back, was so crucial for part of my journey, for this journey. And this is why my intuition is so important to what I do, because, and to what everybody does, because we're all connected and we're all equal. We're all people. We're all, we need to really show love and kindness no matter the situation. And so recently with my intuition, a practical side with the income side is last over a year ago, I came to Italy for a job, and this job, the school closed, and it was okay because I already said to them, and before it closed, or before they announced they were going to close, I had asked for part-time work because I wanted to start my life coaching business. And it was all good, dandy, whatever. And I remember that when they closed, the energy was just, you can feel it. It was heavy. It was toxic. It was very difficult. So it was very hard already to block the energy out. But everybody was desperate. You could just see it. It was like me years ago, picking and pulling and trying to find whatever I could. But instead of that, I shoved that all out. And I remember listening to my gut and just having complete faith. And I was like, I'm not applying for any jobs. I didn't apply for any jobs. Can you believe this? I didn't apply for any jobs. I didn't care to look. I knew it was going to come to me. And I had job offers to teach. I said no to them because I didn't want them. I knew they weren't the right fit, and I know my worth. Then I had the right job come. While I could work and start my business, I was at the same time offered this position, and this position has been a blessing. The family's fantastic. The job I have is exactly the hours I want. I'm making how much money I want. I am able to have free time to do what I want and work on my schedule. By following my intuition and staying grounded and knowing my value, my worth, knowing and trusting that the universe has my back, I found exactly what I was looking for. And so my intuition has been showing miracles in all different sorts of ways. It's just defining a miracle.
Right? Yeah, I always talk about it as like an act of grace, like where something it's an expression of love, and it's just beyond what you could comprehend. I just wanted to highlight one of the things that you said, which is this person, you saw this person. And I feel like that's one of the main things we do as coaches is we actually see each other. Like my business coach, she's seen me for the last week because I've been like, what on the earth? And she's like, I'm seeing you, and so you saw this person. And so it brings out the truth in them. And so from that place, it's almost like all things are possible. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, wow, you see me. Oh, I am connected to everyone and everything. Oh, what miracle is possible for me? And for you, I love that you shared everything comes to you. You actually don't have to reach for it. You just get to stay grounded in love. And it's almost like look up to the sky and let it rain on you. If you like rain, and just be like, thank you for the rain of blessing. It is higher self-integration. It's like allowing that to happen for you because that's the way we're designed, right? It's only these programs that would block us. So and we all have them, so that's the other reason that coaching is so important, to be able to clear those blocks. But is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, funny, because I know I spoke about a physical thing and manifesting, but I wanted to talk about the energy thing. So I'm also a yoga teacher, and I remember a long time ago I was teaching a yoga class, and before I was practicing Reiki, I was very aware of energy anyways, but I used my own energy rather than the universe to support me in this. And I remember I was sitting in Shavasana, and I was sitting and everybody was in Shavasana. And I could feel this one woman. And all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I need to give her love. So I gave her my energy of love and sent it to her. And then she started to bawl and just cry. And I just held her in that space. And I remember visualizing that space and seeing the space. And after the lesson, she came up to me and she said, Jackie, I I have to tell you, I felt you that entire time and I felt so safe. And I needed to tell you that because I needed you to know that what you're doing is is the right thing. And I was like, oh, that was the first real evidence I found that energy transferred to other people.
Yeah.
It really, like I've had incidences like this before, but something this powerful was just incredible. And so I really wanted to highlight that here because like we've been talking about, intuition, the energy and connection we have with one another is so strong that we can't undervalue it.
Mm-hmm. Love heals, right? I mean, you held the space of unconditional love and non-judgment, and that's like the energy of Reiki even, you know? I mean, it's just allowing that, that life force energy to support. And it just made me flash back to when I opened my practice. I remember sometimes I wouldn't say anything, and they would just walk in, similar to you, and feel that space, and that would heal them. And so that's where I totally got the theory that all the answers are within us. Like we can hold the space for each other, but ultimately, like we already know, and the love softens that it opens the heart to then share the truth, and then you're healed. Then you realize your wholeness. So I literally can still see the yellow office and everything. I'm just like, wow. Like, I mean, it's just like the mind remembers what's important to remember, you know? And I feel like love will highlight that. I love that you're doing that with people. And you do it for me, you do it for the world. You know, when you do it for yourself, again, it's that ripple effect. So again, I'm hearing, is there anything else that you would like to share? You know, maybe even your ability to connect, you know, how you've been able to develop your intuition with your guides, your guidance, your knowingness, how you're able to work with that. I know you channel just through your crown and it comes through you, but maybe you can kind of describe, you know, what that process is like and how you've been able to really illuminate your own life with that connection.
It's a really hard thing to explain, actually. It's like because when I was younger, I couldn't explain it. I couldn't explain the energy, as I'm sure you were the same. Things would happen and I would carry people's energy so easily, and I didn't know that it was their energy. So I would project thinking it was my own, but it wasn't my baggage.
Yeah.
And so what I've learned to do is, especially in those moments, it's a weird sensation. So it rarely happened to me, but in this year, especially lately, I probably feel this like tingly sensation coming through my heart and my back of the heart where you receive love. I tend to feel a lot of tingliness in my body. And it sounds so strange, but usually what happens is if I'm here, I can easily now visualize and come down to my heart and my gut. Mm-hmm. But the first part of that is breathing. That's all I do to get centered. Wow. Because the breath, as we know, is life. And life is energy. So for me, the breath is the first thing. The second thing I need to do if I'm trying to listen to my intuition and it's just really noisy, and you've seen me do this in our sessions, I bring my hand to my heart, I bring my other hand to my gut, so that I'm anchoring those places and feeling the weight on those places so that I can't go anywhere external except for in my heart and gut. Mm-hmm. So for me, channeling into my intuition is my own process, but it works. And like I always get these like tingly down my back because it just feels in line. That's probably the word to say.
So I just have this huge like expansion in my heart of wanting to ask the question, can we all breathe together just for a few breaths and feel our unity in that life force? Can you guide us through that?
Sure.
And even just a visualization of how you do it.
All right. So what I like to do is I like to ground myself. If you're sitting in a chair, bring both feet to the ground. We're just going to tuck the shoulder blades behind the back so we open the heart center up. It's really important to open that heart chakra because a lot of the times we're closed when we sit down. And we're just going to inhale here. And as you inhale, just feel yourself lengthening. And then exhale, let it go, just releasing down. Inhale, imagine me just having a golden string above your head, just tugging it a little, growing a little taller. Exhale, it out. Inhaling. Imagine your rib cage expanding, your stomach getting full. And then exhale, melt into your seat. I invite you to do this 3 more times at your own breath. Just visualizing the inhale coming into your body, filling your whole being. Sourcing down to your toes. And if you feel any stagnation, when you exhale, I invite you to just exhale it out. Imagine it coming out of your system and just flying into the air away from you. 1 more inhale. Exhale it out. And when you're ready, feel free to open your eyes.
It's really interesting. When I opened my eyes, the sun actually hit this room to where when I opened, there was all this light around me. And I feel like when we take that time to go within and feel our connection, it starts to illuminate from within to then the external. And there is that alignment because I was just realizing my tagline is success from the inside out. And that's what you just guided us through, is that connection inside to then manifest it, energy before matter, right, on the outside. So Jackie, I would love for you to share your personal email that people can reach out to you for your work, and also your website. And I just invite anybody and everybody who's feeling called to connect with Jackie. We've done some intensive work, and like I said, I really highly recommend it. So Jackie, you want to share that?
Sure. Energy Before Matter, lifecoaching.com. And my email is energybeforematter.lifecoaching@gmail.com. So pretty simple.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave the audience with, something they can walk away with and remember?
I think I'm going to tie in with what you said. It's so important for us to go from the inside out. So often we look at the outside to fill us up in the inside. And even after those few breaths, my hands are tingling, my feet are tingling. I have to say, if you want to manifest the things that you want, the life that you deserve, you need to start from the inside, and the outside will follow suit.
I love it. So beautiful. So beautiful, Jackie. You are such a gift. And the only other question that's coming through is sometimes I feel like people can have an inner conflict where they feel something, but then their mind doubts. How would you recommend them moving into alignment with what they know to be true? Just like you were talking about your experience of, outside things going against your intuition. Is there any advice that you can give our listeners to really trust that whisper and just honor what is so true for them?
The first thing is hire a coach.
Hire a coach. There you go. Just be honest.
The coach is going to be your mirror. So like you or myself, we're the mirror. We hear things that you say, and we bounce it back to you to see if it's true or if you're speaking from the heart or the head.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like to do for myself, like most of us who are aware, I will do the first thing is bring my hand to my heart, bring my hand to my stomach, my gut, and I will tie into that place.
Yeah.
So I'm visual, and so I can imagine those things kind of bouncing around, or nowadays it's here. I'll bring my hand to my heart, my hand to my stomach, and I'll start to draw that energy and come down. And I'll ask myself, is this true?
Mm-hmm.
Is one brownie going to kill me?
In fact, it might taste really good. And I'm going to enjoy it. Forgive myself later, but man, I enjoyed it.
I've only got one more left, so I got to save it for a good occasion.
Good plan, good plan. Wow. I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Jackie. Please, everybody, reach out to Jackie, and just big hug to you. You know I love you. Sending all my love from California to Italy and 10 times around the world, just circling with light, love, peace, and harmony. Namaste, everyone. Bye.